just want to give a little bit of a fun set of snippets on the giants of Indian IT services, Wipro and Infosys, both tucked in acquisition this month. And we've always, by the way, as an aside, one of my favorite complaints to the heads of these businesses, Wipro and Infy, have been, why aren't you buying more Indian startup tech product companies? I think, like, I got a candid opinion from somebody there, I won't name the person, but saying it's a nightmare selling these smaller ideas to the boards, like, and the analysts, and like asking them to be patient about, buying into innovation and seeing the innovation play out. So, interestingly, they tend to go for relatively low-hanging fruit. So if there is a company which has a global footprint, is already stable, EBITDA positive, it's a much, much easier buy to defend to the board, and these are not easy, by the way. Integrations take time. And essentially, if you're buying into a particular company, to absorb it and make the integration smooth, however mature you are as a company, takes quarters, if not years. And so you can't keep doing them every month just because it's an interesting product company. So this has been a pet peeve, that given the preponderance of GCCs in India, given the number of IT giants in India in services, we still don't have a product culture in terms of acquisitions. And as I pointed out, most of Blume's portfolio acquisitions have happened from cross-border product companies, not from natively in India. So on that note, just a honorable mention equivalent, Harman had a digital transformation solutions business. It was a connected services business unit, which it had built with Samsung as a subsidiary. And Wipro picked that up for $375 million, according to the reports. And these kind of transactions always are subject to regulatory approvals, expected to close by December 31st. 5,600 plus employees in this digital transformation solutions business across Americas, Europe, Asia. They'll all transition to Wipro. DTS operates in 14 countries. This is like classic Wipro Infosys acquisitions, by the way. So they get, some product capability, or product engineering capability rather, some, acceleration into certain markets, certain geographies, and they get like ready-made, solid, stable employee bases in different markets. So what's not to love? And so this is the business, by the way, where revenue last year is 300 plus million, right? And so it's like an EV to revenue multiple of little over 1x on last year's numbers, maybe 1x on this year's numbers. And so these are like fantastic steady state cash cow kind of acquisitions. Clearly, the sellers are also happy. And very similarly, Infosys then made a play for a Telstra-owned group called Versent in Australia, by the way. And this is another fascinating thing. By the way, my last job in the US was with a company called Instinet before I moved back almost 20 years ago. And Instinet was owned by Reuters. And it was it was a business unit which just suddenly found its legs and grew on its own and went public, and actually never used the cash. So it had like some 800 million in the bank, which never used the public cash. It was profitable. And Silver Lake swooped in, merged it with a company called Island, which Instinet had bought. And then finally Silver Lake said, hey, this chaotic company is not great in the hands of Reuters. Let's buy it, split it into its three natural parts and sell it to different people. So the part I worked for went to NASDAQ, actually. And the other part went to Nomura. And everybody got cash, everyone was happy. And Reuters went back to doing its own business, right? So after owning it for like 25 years, basically the business just went back to private equity, got broken up and went to its respective parts. So it's not very different what you're seeing here. Telstra must have owned and incubated a business. It's a cloud and digital transformation subsidiary. It grew. It would have grown to a certain size, not being a great fit with Telstra's core capabilities, right? And they retained 25% and sold 75% to Infosys. And the transaction seemed to be Aussie dollar 233 million or so, which is about US dollar 150 plus million. And basically, it allows for possibly both sides to build a much better go-to-market in Australia for AI-enabled cloud transformation. So it's something that will close next year. All parties are happy. This is a business which had $265 million of revenue. So, of course, we bought 75% of it through Infosys. But again, a very, very attractive EV to revenue deal. Infosys then takes, operational control. And then it combines its own probably AI cloud platforms called Topaz and Cobalt with Versent's locally managed cloud security data sovereign services. So basically, that's the other interesting trend you're seeing in AI-based cloud services. I think sovereignty is on top of the stack. So you have to enter a market by buying somebody who's local and localized so that the government of that country is comfortable with the fact that there is a sovereign ring fencing of data and infrastructure. So that seems to be also the driver. Of course, I'm guessing a lot of this sitting as a as a ringside spectator. And as I said, Infosys and Wipro are not new to these acquisitions. They keep picking up a very interesting asset every 12, 18, 24 months. They've always had amazing professionals who've been groomed by the founder groups who continue the legacy of Wipro and Infosys. It'll be fascinating to see how they adapt to the AI first world. And we won't be surprised if future segments carry a lot more about Infosys and Wipro acquisitions. So that's a wrap for the month of August. Not too many highly sexy M&As in the tech venture capital backed tech world. So I thought I'll bring in some interesting elements of how legacy IT services acquires, and it's just interesting learnings for the future of how M&A will play out in India if we build hugely cash flow positive businesses in the public market or in late stage private markets. Thanks, and I hope you enjoyed this. And we also have, as always, a secondary segment